Kawhi Leonard and Steve Ballmer are in a lot of trouble. Look, if you're not caught up to speed, essentially what happened was Kawhi Leonard has a salary, and the team also has a salary cap. And quickly what that means, if you're not familiar, every NBA team gets a certain amount of money to spend. They can exceed that by a little bit, but then they start after paying the league. It's called a luxury tax. So then once you get to that cap, then you can't spend any more. Well, the Clippers, they just got a new stadium. They've got a few superstars they want to keep. And Kawhi Leonard is apparently looking to go elsewhere. What the Clippers did to keep him locked in, even though he's getting paid as much as he possibly can, the Clippers can't pay him any more money, was to make a fake company and pay Kawhi Leonard for an ad that he never did. Now, first thing I want to point out, even if this company was real, $15 million, is this prime Michael Jackson endorsing something? I mean, that sounds like a lot of money to be in a commercial. I mean, just an absurd amount of money to be in a commercial. But even with that aside, the sketchiness of that amount aside for a commercial, if the company existed and there was a commercial, then we could get into some gray area on, okay, well, Steve Ballmer owned a company, but he owns a lot of companies. He's the sixth richest man in the world. Then we can kind of get into an interesting argument. I would still side against Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard because it seems sketchy, and when things seem sketchy, they probably are. But that's not even what happened. He made a fake company that didn't do any business, paid Kawhi Leonard to be part of this fake company, and then they got caught. I mean, look. If this was legal, everybody would do it, obviously. Any owner with money, and that's the reason why there's a salary cap in the NFL and in the NBA. It is to keep the teams relatively even. If there is no salary cap, it would be like college football, it would be like college basketball. The boosters who fund the colleges, the rich boosters keep the certain teams the best, Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, the teams with a lot of money, and no one else gets any good players. I mean, it's just that simple. It's not competitive. It's not fun to watch. And it's just an unfair format. So what the NBA and the NFL do is to say this is how much money you can spend. So the great teams have to lose some of their good players. And then the bad teams that didn't draft as well, they can pick up some of those good players. So over a long enough time horizon, it ends up evening out to a degree. Obviously, some teams are better ran, some teams are worse ran. But the salary cap makes a lot of sense. And this is an obvious way to kind of get around it. Because if you can just pay them more, if you can just pay them money off the books, well, then everybody would pay them off the books. Why would we even do any reporting to the league office on how much the salary is? Everybody would just get paid in gift cards. So what I think the punishment should be, the punishment has not came out as of this video. Now, by the time the video actually comes out, there might be a punishment. I'm not sure how quick the NBA is going to be on this, but... look, the All-Star Weekend is in the Clippers Stadium. You could do something in terms of, like, we're going to move it. It gets dicey because people have already made plans, presumably. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to threaten to move it to the Lakers Stadium. That would be interesting as a punishment. But look, there has to be some sort of accountability for both Kawhi as well as the owner. You just can't be doing this. You just can't. It hurts the integrity of the league. It makes it unfair, and then obviously just the richest owner would buy the best players, and there would be nothing to watch. So, and this is going to sound funny because Kawhi never plays. I think you got to suspend Kawhi for at least 25% of the season, maybe 50%. I think suspending him the whole year is a bit much. He didn't assault anybody. It's not it's not a violent crime. So I would suspend him 20 to 50% of the season. And in terms of Steve Ballmer, look, if they're going to keep the All-Star game in the Clippers Stadium, I think you got to take away a first-round pick, at least one. I don't think the punishment has to be crazy. I don't think you have to ban them from playing. I don't think you have to ban Kawhi for the season. I don't think you have to make him solo team. But he does have to lose something. Both people have to lose something because it's not fair to anybody. And look, I find it ridiculous that with all the expertise and all the money these people have, I'm speaking about Steve Ballmer, that they couldn't find a better way to do this. Because look, at the end of the day, you probably could backdoor channel money to any player. they could do a commercial for Subway, but actually you're an investor in Subway, but you only own 3%, but you made a donation to the company and they got to keep 10%. And it's like, look, you probably could do this. The fact that they didn't really make an effort to do this, it almost is, it's almost offensive. It's offensive to our minds. You didn't even try to do the scam. You just did it in our faces, made a fake company, paid him for a fake service. Look, if the ad is real and he's doing it for a real company, we get into a tricky situation. And I don't really think you can do much, because you're going to tell players they can't market themselves outside the sport. I mean, that's tough. But I do think there needs to be some punishment for both of them.